Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So, we have read now from the book of Deuteronomy in our last few episodes. We have read a review of what happened during the last 40 years in the wilderness.
hmm
All right. And I want to point out something, right? Most people don't see it because if you don't have the text, it doesn't say it. And what I'm pointing out to you is 40 years ago, when Moses was stressed out and carrying the people out of Israel and then not going into the land at that time, Moses asked and prayed before the Most High to be with the people, to keep his covenant, and to not abandon them,
hmm
and asked for rest.
Sure did. Sure did.
Moses asked for rest. And here we are now, 40 years later. The first tribes have received uh, their suburban lands. So you have two types. You have urban and suburban.
hmm
And, the capital city of Jerusalem, it has regions belonging to each of the 12 tribes, but all the 12 tribes don't live there. That is just the capital city with its regions and surroundings. Then you have the 12 tribes' capitals in their suburban lands as appointed throughout the Middle Eastern area. Now, Moses is here and he wants to look and to go into and see the fullness of the land, and he cannot. He cannot. But the Most High takes him up to Mount Ibra in Oman,
hmm
and looking from Mount Ibra, he's allowed to look over the vastness of the plains of the land to see the whole land. Like, this is theirs. You've been marching around it this whole time, right? So when people say, oh, Moses didn't get a chance to go into the land, Moses didn't get a chance to go over Jordan.
Right. Yeah, because that's what it says.
Because when
That's
he
what it
prays
says.
at the end, he
hmm
says, well, just let me just make it over Jordan and I will go there.
hmm
Moses does not go over Jordan.
Right, because it says, "For thou shalt not pass over
Over the,
this Jordan."
right.
Yeah.
You won't pass over this Jordan.
hmm
So this is something I want everybody to start to pay attention to is the layers.
hmm
You formulate theories and stories and doctrines. This book will correct you.
Yes, it will.
It will
Yes.
make you out to be a liar,
Yes, it will.
right?
Yes, it will.
So I always advise everyone to follow the same instruction that I followed. Read everything first,
hmm
right? If you approach these books with your same doctrine, you will be proving yourself
Yep.
wrong,
Yep. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
right? I consider myself to have taken a pretty eccentric path to getting here today, right?
mm-hmm.
To getting to this point. And it wasn't by choice. It really was for me, by design, I had reason to be a little eccentric and a little outlandish, right? And the reason being is because there is no way to test anything without going through the proper steps. Okay? I can't explain it to you if I don't understand it first myself. So people say, well, how do you understand this now? Process, due process. Through due process, I've come to understand it. You take a step, you apply written information, and you look for the feedback. You observe everything and everyone around you. This due process has led me to make some breakthroughs and discoveries. Like, did you know that science is magic?
I've heard that before. Yes, sir.
I'll prove it. Okay? Every bit of technology that we use today would have been considered magic in an ancient time and is still considered magic now. You know what something does, but you don't exactly know how it works. There are just a few people with the information that can replicate it. Right? So if I tell someone I flew from 5,000 miles away and I came to this country, today everybody knows planes can fly. It is
Right.
common knowledge.
Right.
However,
Back then.
to somebody who lived in an era where planes did not exist, it is a magical thing. And what happens is the world constantly goes through cycles. What cycles are you talking about, Rabbi Sheikh? There is always an expansion of technology and knowledge and a diminishing of technology and knowledge. This is recorded throughout history. This is done at this time. This is the knowledge of this age. A great war happens. The people are destroyed, scattered, moved about because of greed, because of lust, because of all the same sins you see today, right? All of this lascivious living. And then after this war and everything is destroyed, the knowledge diminishes. Those people who were experts in producing it no longer produce it. Okay? So there's a saying by Albert Einstein. Nobody has to worry about World War IV. Because after World War III, World War IV will be fought again with sticks and stones. Look it up. If you don't think I'm lying, look it up. And if it wasn't Einstein, because I could be mentioning the wrong person's quote, if it wasn't Einstein, it was the inventor of the nuclear weapons. Either or. Okay? I'm human. don't if I misquote something to somebody, don't hold it too much against me. I don't really study them, but I remember certain sayings.
Yes, yes.
So why would the person say that? There's never been a time where no weapon has been made that it hasn't been used.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody has great weapons, they will use them against
Right.
their enemies. And right now, they're about to use all of the weapons that they have. What happened? The generation that inherited them didn't get to see them in action. So the remorse of the generation that first made them and used them initially has been erased. So now this new generation, we have this. We should use it for our advancement.
Mm-mm-mm.
So after this World War III, which will go nuclear, it'll last all of about a day. But it's what happens the day after, right? Nobody's going to save anything. They're going to make sure that the other side uses all of theirs, and you're going to use all of yours, and you're going to carry yourself into the next phase after crawling out of whatever ditch you crawled into to try to survive it.
Yeah, in their back caves.
The, there's an old saying, okay? And it comes from a very funny person.
Mm-hmm.
It comes from Mike Tyson. He says, everybody knows what they're going to do in a fight before the fight.
Right.
He says, and everybody forgets after they get punched in the face.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm saying it more eloquently. I'm not going to mock Mike Tyson.
Right.
And you say, why are you not going to mock him? Because there's a deep wisdom in that.
Yes, it is.
It's something you may not understand because he's speaking very simply when he said it. But before something happens, you've calculated everything, right? But if you have never been in the fight yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've never been actually hit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what it's like to be hit.
So true.
So you begin to think yourself untouchable until you get hit.
Yes.
And then you see all your plans and things kind of go out the window because unexpected things begin to happen.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're approaching that time,
Mm.
you know? And I want you all to know you've all have asked and prayed and said that only God can judge you. And now he will.
Mm. Wow.
Everything of truth is being censored. And every preposterous idea is being expounded upon. And you're saying to yourself, what is he talking about?
Mm.
You have no control over truth anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And bad information is construed as good information. So the war for the battlefield is won on the mind, and you have been confounded. You've been confused. It took me 8 years diligently attempting to do what this book says to see whether or not it was true. Traveling, meeting people, indigenous peoples, accepting their stories. The strange part is when they told their stories of their side, not having read this book, they were telling the stories and the viewpoints and the history from these books, not from the Bible. When they said we lived here and they lived there and it was over the next mountain, it's confirmed by this book. We were neighbors. It wasn't hard land borders. When the indigenous people said, we used to marry them, and one of my grandmothers is a Israelite, they weren't lying. Why am I telling you this now? Because I've come to reason with you. My eccentric days are finished. I'm going to present you with full logical understanding and a depth of wisdom the world has long since forgotten. I said for the last 7 years that there would be famine. I said that the water supplies would be attacked and fish would die. Why? It's written in the book. It says the fishermen will mourn. There'll be no fish. You want to say it was the government who did this. And you're right. In your eyes, they did it. I don't care how it happens. It only matters that it happens. The ends justify the means. I told every person who spoke to me over the last year that last year the war would begin. They looked at me and said, no, it will not. Now they see that the battle that started last year is now the war they're proclaiming this year. All last year you heard about threats and capability of there being nuclear bombings. I'm here to guarantee it. It is written that all of these arrows, these nuclear missiles, they won't miss. They won't. Not one of them. They won't miss. That's why they have hypersonics now, because you can't defend against it. You can't see it coming by satellite balloons that you now know are balloons.
You know, that went over some people's heads.
It's all right. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. I told you I'm going to talk with you
Yeah.
sensibly now.
Mm.
I don't have to hide anymore. I don't have to do things in an eccentric way
Yes, sir.
any longer. Why did you do it in an eccentric way in the first place? Because if you don't take the instruction literally and seriously, then there's no way for you to delineate whether it is actual and factually true. If you take everything as it is figuratively, then anything can be true and you delude yourself. So because I took every word and text literally and plotted it and walked it and accepted what I was finding because it was literal, relearning the languages, relearning the grammar and the speech patterns, relearning it. I couldn't do it without fully submerging myself into it and then watching everybody who said they were intelligent and doing it the right way mock me and fail miserably at their own plans. Food shortages. Let's buy farmlands. We need to feed people. Even now, you're not even thinking about farmlands. Even now, you're not considering where food comes from. You still believe that the worst won't happen. That somehow tomorrow things will calm down and get back to a sense of normalcy. It won't. You've forgotten the root of survival, which is agricultural. Your food doesn't come from the supermarket. It comes by farming. And the more farmers you have, the more self-sustainability. And now, over this next few decades, you're going to learn that the hard way. Every place you go, every business you make, everything's going to come crashing down systematically. So if it don't hit your system yet, just know it's coming. If you don't put your farm in the right location, it won't sustain. So to know where the right location is, you're going to have to know who you are. And you, children of Israel, you just so happen to find out. Some more recently than others, but it is now common
Knowledge.
knowledge now. This is going to be more difficult than you can expect. This is going to be more difficult than anyone expects. After this, we're going to need bows and arrows and swords. I promise. There's no way for what is coming for the majority to survive. None. Talking about who's behind it and what's going on and whatever. None of it is going to matter. None of it will matter when what is coming, these 4 plagues, hit your door. These same 4 plagues will multiply in 250 variables of ways. You don't believe it? That's fine. Right now, you're in the pot, the fire is on, and the water is boiling. The countdown to the number of days until you see what I'm talking about is short. So, enjoy this video. We're getting ready to go into the judgments and the statutes portion. So you're saying, what, Rabbi Sheikh? Well, this next portion of the law is going to further elaborate on the previous portions. So by now you know that the 10 words are explained out and throughout this same process. The same law from Sinai spoken in 10 words explains itself out through chapter 21 with the judgments, and then reiterated after they come out with the golden calf and they make repentance, and reiterated after you receive the instructions for how the Levites are supposed to organize, and reiterated and refined again through the problems in the wilderness with the betrayals and the uprising against leadership. Now we're going to read it again. So the laws and the commandments, these are decrees. They are fixed. They do not change. The ordinances tell you how to do something. So the law is what to do and what not to do. The ordinance is how to do it. Now we're going to go in statutes. What's a statute? If you do and if you don't, what do you get? What is the outcome? By statute, this is the outcome for each of those actions and decisions. So now we're going to hear what the outcome of decisions are, and you'll see that these outcomes and decisions are fixed. After we finish in Deuteronomy 34, right? So we only got 30 more books. After we finish, we're going to start in Genesis and begin to judge Bereshit or Bereshata, the first ones. Okay? Bereshata is in the first. All right. So, the laws and commands are decrees that cannot be broken, they are fixed. The ordinances are the procedures in which you are to do things. And the statutes tells you what the outcomes are. All right? So now we're going to begin Deuteronomy chapter 4. And now, Israel, hear the statutes and judgments which I teach you to do, that you may live and go in and inherit the land of Yah, Allah of your fathers, giveth you. I think that's a fitting entrance. Right? So this is already telling you the outcome of hearing them to do them, not just listening. You're going to have to listen and do. You shall not add to the words that I teach you, nor diminish them, but keep the commandments of Yah, your Allah, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the word of Yah has done to the worshippers of the idol Peor. We explained that because we read that already. So now, as you can clearly see, because I read it and taught you what happened when I think it was like a few 25, 30,000 died. Why? Because the men were taking women that were not of the faith. Even though they were of the race, they were not of the faith. When I say faith, I mean the work. I don't mean the religion. There is none.
Right, because the idol of Peor is that which Laban
They followed in
Yeah.
Laban's advisement instead of following in Moses' advisement.
Right, because it was the graven image idol,
The
not
idea,
a statue.
it's not a statue, it's an idea. We'll take these women who do worship idols and will be willing to fornicate, and we'll put them out there and let them do what they do. And the men will be enticed by them, and we'll get them like this. Their God will get mad with them because we put these women out here to be loose. We've taught the women to become whores. You know, Nicki Minaj's and Cardi B's. You know, Megan Thee Stallions, city girls, modern women. See, that's the idol of Peor. And the men that get with them, because these women are not sleeping by themselves. If that was the case, they'd still be virgins. For all the men who went astray after the idol Peor, Yah Allah hath destroyed from among you. They all died. But you who have cleaved to the worship of Yah, your Allah, are alive, all of you, this day. Now, this word, this verse is past tense and future tense.
Yes.
Why? You have yet to go through the elimination of those who die because of the idol of Peor, but it's getting ready to come to you. So, as we go through the process of eliminating all of the people over the next 40 years who bow down to the idol of Peor, in 40 years, this will also hold true. See, I teach you statutes and judgments, as Yah hath taught me, that you may do so in the land which you are entering to possess it. So once again, we will be coming to the point where we will be entering in the land to possess it. So shall you observe and perform the law. So if you thought my behavior was eccentric in the past, I sought to perform the law, and it was strange. You will perform even greater strangeness in becoming the people of Israel. You will perform all of it. For it is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the people. So to observe and perform the law is your wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. Who will hear all these statutes and will say, how wise and intelligent is this great people? So you're not wise or intelligent until you come back, learn these customs and traditions, buy this land, rebuild the nation, and gain back your land. Nobody has told you this before me today. None. They wanted you to come back by spaceship. Well, now they shooting those down. So we know that was a lie. We know those are not the chariots of the Most High now. Right?
Yes, sir.
They wanted you to come back by somebody who was going to snatch you out before things got too bad. Nobody's coming to snatch nobody. You may hold on to your beliefs, your ideals, or anything. I promise you this. The Americas will go back to being uninhabited as they were before peoples migrated there. Nobody will live there after this war. You will all have to come back to the mainland. For what people so great, to whom Yah is so nigh in the name of the word of Yah? That's a good question.
Yes, it is.
So they're going to ask, well, what made these people so great that God is so close to them and the name of his word is with them? That's not until you come back. Buy the land, learn the customs and traditions, and perform them. Each man helping to redeem his brethren, working together as a cohesive nation and unit. So you can't come with your American ideas. Well, I'll buy my own piece of land, I'll do my own thing. You will not survive here. It will not work. But the custom of other nations is to carry their gods upon their shoulders. The customs of other nations is for them to carry their gods upon their shoulders, that they may seem close to them. But their gods cannot hear with ears, whether the statue is close or far. But the word of Yah sitteth upon his throne high and lifted up, and hears our prayers what time we pray before him, and make our petitions. So the Most High, again, like I said before, he heard Moses 40 years ago and told Moses, now, Moses, listen, don't, don't discuss with me this any further. I've given the decree already. It cannot change. I don't change it. You asked, I granted you what you asked for. That's it. And what people have statutes and right judgments according to all this law which I order before you this day? That's a good question. What people, what nation have laws and statutes and right judgments according to this one? None of them. You are out there with them. The law is being exercised nowhere except right here. Only take heed to yourselves and diligently keep your souls. Only pay attention to yourself and diligently follow the instructions for yourself, for your own soul. Do you see that right there, sister?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't I talk about that every day?
Every day. Yes, sir.
You have to keep you. Don't look to the next person and say, but well, they doing this. Their day of judgment coming.
Right.
You want to avoid it for yourself.
Correct.
Lest you forget the things which you beheld with your eyes at Sinai, and that they depart not from thy heart all the days of thy life, and you may teach them to your children and to your children's children. That's an important part.
Yes, it is.
I do everything I do now, not for only myself, but for the preservation of future generations. None of you have anything worthy of leaving to the next generation. None of you. Your children inherit the wind. You tell your child when they grow up, it's time for them to get up on their own and hustle for themselves. While the other nations pass on lands, businesses, and industries. You don't have anything because you didn't build anything, because you have no nation or no land, which is what we're correcting today. We'll be back after this. And that you may make yourselves pure in your transactions, thereby, as in the day when you stood before Yah, your Allah, at Horeb. So we have to change the way we transact business. We have to change the way we transact as a nation. Right? Pure transaction. That's how we conduct our laws, how we execute our judgments, how we govern ourselves. At the time when Yah said to me, gather the people before me that they may hear my words, by which they shall learn to fear before me all the days that they remain upon the earth, and may teach their children. You see? So you gathered at Mount Sinai, and I'm only talking to my people. I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm only talking to the children of Israel. Okay? I'm only talking to the Israelites. Okay? So when we stood there at Horeb, and we got these laws and we agreed, then we accepted to walk in it. We didn't. What do you mean we didn't walk in it? If you had walked in it, there would be no cause for you to die in the wilderness for 40 years. So again, we are at the same point, the same place. If you are just hell bent on going through 40 years in the wilderness, do it. Enjoy the trip. But you're not going to do it in the land. I promise you.
So many of our people, have been, discussing this for years about the state of our children and the state of this generation. And we must come to a place to accept the responsibility that one, we have not been gathered together as a people. Two, we're just now hearing his words because we didn't hear his words before. And we lost the fear of Yahweh. Don't have the fear. And this is why our generations, especially our young generation, it's not remaining on earth. And so because of these things, we haven't been able to teach our children. The state of our children today is because we reneged on the covenant that we made at Mount Sinai, at Horeb. We reneged. And we must accept that so we can confess it. Because once you confess it, then are you able to learn the right way, truthfully and honestly. So having prayer gatherings to cry out to Yah about the state of our children, it's not even needed because it already tells us
What to do.
what to do,
And how
gives
to
us
do
the
it.
ordinance, it gives us the law, the ordinance, and the statutes.
Right. Now, this is government.
Yeah.
This is governing. This is government laws and statutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You commit this crime, you receive this punishment. If you do this work, you receive this. These are statutes.
Right.
Like any government, like the government you're in now, these are the same ones. However, you may not wish to be under these laws.
That's pretty much what it boiled down to. They don't want to be under this
Law.
law.
The way it is appointed. And I can understand that. Some people don't want me to be king. And that's fine. Right? You want the king in your imagination, the Messiah of your imagination, doesn't ask for that. It asks for blood descent. It asks for building and redeeming the people by buying back the land with the cooperation of the people.
According to the law, by birthright, by redemption.
That's it.
That's the
Now,
instructions.
if you mad because you wanted Superman or Santa Claus, don't know what to do. You do what you want, But in remembrance, it says, you drew near and stood at the lower part of the mountain. Now, I want to say something that you probably have never heard, or maybe somebody has insinuated that is a possibility. But I want you to know, all of you, this generation, all of you are the same people who died in the wilderness. You're, you're all reborn today to face the same obstacles again. Why? Because when you think the Most High lied when He said, "I brought you up from the land of Egypt and rescued you from the house of bondage," you are the same people born again. Ak, are you saying we reincarnated? You can call it what you like. I'm saying you are the same people born again from the womb. There is a set number to the children of Israel. That means it can be no more or no less. It is fixed. If you go and check it, all you so-called scholars out there, you'll see that I'm right.
And this is what we were born again for.
This is what you're born again for. So we're here again for a second try. Will you follow the instruction? This is your time of testing. So you drew near the mountain and stood at the lower part of the mountain. And the mountain burned with fire, and its flame went up to the height of the heavens with darkness, clouds, and shadows. And Yah spoke with you on the mountain from the midst of the fire, and you heard. So if you heard it then, you hear it now, today. The voice of the word, the dibura. But you saw no likeness. There was no image. There
That's
was no
right.
shapes. No shapes.
Right.
So just because somebody showed you a TikTok with prayer hands up there, it was no shapes.
Right.
But only a speaking voice. And the Most High, He proclaimed to you His covenant, which He commanded you to perform. He proclaimed the covenant which He commanded you. He didn't command none of these other peoples. He didn't command the American Indians. He didn't command the Mexicans. He only commanded Bani Israel, and these people ain't.
Oh, goodness.
They ain't. They not. He didn't command the Africans either. Only the children of Israel. How do you know the difference between the children of Israel and the others, Rabbi Sheikh? Because only the sons and daughters of Israel who hear this instruction can follow it. All the others are pretenders. They are false claimers to the throne. But what if they are and they don't listen? Then they'll be dead. They will die over the next 40 years. If you think I'm lying, test it. Mark a time. Put the calendar date down. Rabbi Sheikh said this. I'm going to watch it for 40 years. Watch this dude turn out to be a false prophet. Test it. Test me. The 10 words, Ashrata Dibura, which he hath wrote upon sapphire tablets. And Yah commanded me at that time to teach you the statutes and the judgments, that you may do them in the land which you pass over to possess. So you have to come learn the statutes the judgments and begin to perform the law before you pass over into the land. I'm going to say that again. You have to come here to learn the customs and traditions, to perform the statutes of the law before you come into the land. You have to learn the customs and traditions to perform the law before you pass over into the land. Keep then your soul diligently, for you saw no likeness on the day when Yah spake with you in Horeb from the midst of the fire. So you didn't see nothing but fire. There was no likeness. Be admonished, be reprimanded, be corrected. So I know, there's a lot of brothers out there been teaching a long time and they can't be corrected now because they are bound by their false teachings. Be admonished lest you corrupt your works and make to you an image or likeness of any idol. The likeness either male or female. So there is no image. There is no likeness of any beast of the earth or any winged bird that flieth in the air in the expanse of heaven, or any reptile on the ground, or the symbol of any fish in the waters under the earth. And lest when you lift up your eyes to the height of the heavens and gaze at the sun or the moon and the principal stars of all the host of the heaven, you go astray and adore and serve them. So if you have any symbol, it doesn't matter what, you are wrong. The only thing you're supposed to have is your performance of the law in the land. So unless you come and unless you learn, you a liar. Rabbi Sheikh, why you? Because I did the work. That's the only reason. I came, I learned, I lived, and I continue to live as it is written, verbatim. Anybody who came out to meet me, you came and you met me living the law in the land, accepted as king in the land, known. Rabbi Sheikh is not even my name. It is a title.
That the land itself testified.
The land testified to it. I'm accepted and respected by my brethren. What? By all of them. It's up to you to listen to this law. When you came to the land to see me, anybody who came to see me saw me living amongst the house of Ishmael, my brethren, on the land. The ones who are in covenant still with the house of Israel.
For 19.
For Yah, your Allah, hath been distributed or divided the knowledge of all the peoples that are under the whole heavens. So I want you to understand, everybody has the beliefs and the religions and the books and the understandings appointed to them. Nobody has your information and the understanding of it save me here in the land. I don't like that. What if I got the books and studied myself? It's available. You go to logos.com, logos.com, and look up the Aramaic Bible. You can go on ahead and buy that. That's going to be $1,200 on that site. Go buy it. I did. Go to Tove Rose, look up Pseudo Jonathan, Torose. He's an author on Google, on Amazon. You can get the book on Kindle. It's like $4.99 for just the first books of the law. It's on Kindle. Go ahead and get it. Study. See if I'm lying. Debunk me. Tell me what I'm saying is not true. Get the books. Make your comparison. You are entitled to do so. You have 40 years to see if I'm lying.
You know, after reading this verse here, the thought came, this verse in itself debunks the whole evangelistic movement because nowhere does it say that we are to change them, change the people. We're only supposed to change ourselves. And that they are given their laws to follow. So we have to stop concerning ourselves with what they're required to follow.
Or their information.
Or their information.
Or their sciences. Or their religions.
Right.
Or their beliefs.
Right.
Or what they say.
Right. We need to concern ourselves with what we supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to be walking. Because it said previously that when we are walking in the way, I'm subphrasing, walking in the way and doing what the other people will see it, and that they themselves will proclaim who and what we are. We don't have to do it.
You don't?
All we got to do is just follow these instructions. That's it.
That's it. Now pay attention.
Yes, sir.
For you have the word of Yah taken for his portion. For the children of Israel, you know, you look like me, okay? For you, the children of Israel, scattered all over the world, lost. You lost alone. It was you who the word of Yah took for his portion. He didn't take them. They don't got this law. They're not doing this law. Nobody outside of the land can even teach this law. Because in order to teach it, the first thing you must do is follow it for yourself. You have to get your passport or whatever is necessary to get out of the land, come here, buy land, and begin dwelling together as a people under this law. It says to gather to the ensign. This is the ensign, and it explains what the ensign is in Numbers chapter 3. So nobody can teach it outside, and nobody can keep it outside. It must be done this exact way and format. So for you, Yah has taken for his portion and has brought you out from the fiery furnace of the west, Mitzrayim, to be a people unto him, a people of inheritance, as at this day. So for you who give and come, you will be the chosen people of the Most High, you who hear. But against me was displeasure before Yah on account of your words, because you had murmured for the water, and he sware that I should not pass the Jordan, nor go into the land which Yah your Allah giveth you to inherit. But I must die in this land. I'm not to pass over Jordan, but you will pass over Jordan and possess the inheritance of that good land. That's Moses.
Mm-hmm.
He's salty
Yeah.
because the Most High took him at his word. This is the proof that the Most High hears, and what he says is what he says, and it's going to be what he says it's going to be. Now, I pointed that out
Yes, you
at the
have.
beginning. However, in this generation, I'm going in.
Mm.
And you that murmur against this, you won't make it. I'll exchange. You can do that. When you know the Lord, you know how to use it.
Yep.
I'll make an exchange. I'll take all those who come and build and obey into the land. And the rest of you, you can die in the wilderness in the eyes of the nation. And you think I'm lying. You think it's a game. But watch. Watch. As we keep going through these days, you'll see the gravity of my words hold true and everything else be a lie. Beware then that you forget not the covenant of Yah your Allah, which he hath confirmed with you, or make you an image, the likeness of anything of which Yah your Allah has commanded you that you should not make it. But you made it.
He's been pointing this out a few times just in this chapter. It's been repeated.
Because listen, in this generation, you've done it.
Yes, we have. Yes.
You idolize fame and fortune. You idolize money. You didn't know, like, if you make your own nation, you can actually create your own money. For the word of Yah, your Allah, is a consuming fire. The jealous Allah is a fire, and he avenges himself in jealousy. We'll be back. He avenges himself in jealousy. If when thou wilt have begotten children and children's children, and will have grown old in the land, you corrupt your works, and make you an image or any likeness, and do that which is evil before Yah to provoke him, I attest against you this day, the sworn witness of the heavens and the earth, that perishing you will perish swiftly from the land to possess which you pass the Jordan. You will not lengthen out days upon it, but will be utterly destroyed. Well, that's what you did. You did it. Here's the proof.
And Rabbi Shay, it says, for the word of Yah your Allah is a consuming fire.
Right.
It's not a person. It's not a male. It's not a female.
It's like fire.
It's like fire.
Like. Right? When the Most High appeared, all they saw was fire, lava, the mountain was melting. Go check it. I read it.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus chapter 19.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the proof that the Most High is real and that you have been suffering because you remain in idolatry. You remain following laws that are not appointed to you. Yah will scatter you among the Gentiles, and you will remain as a little people with the nations among whom Yah will disperse you in captivity. You will remain a lowly people, weak, no land, no power, no possession. And there you will be constrained to serve the worshipers of idols, the work of men's hand, of wood, a cross, and stone, the Kaaba, which see not, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if there you seek to return to the fear of Yah, your Allah, you shall find mercy. When you seek before him, when? So that means some of you will. And when you seek before him with all your heart and with all your soul, when you suffer oppression, right? Because Black lives don't matter in the US or anywhere else. When you suffer oppression, and all these things come upon you in the end of days, welcome to the party. And you be converted to the fear of Yah, your Allah, and obey his word. So it will continue until you be converted. Meaning you're not converted if you're still in the prior conditions.
That's right. And you know where it says here of wood and stone, when you think about it, all across there in the West, there
All over
are
the world.
all over the world. But yes.
All over the world. It don't matter where you are.
But we see a lot of the stone images, like Baphomet.
Think about it.
All of that in there.
You from the West.
Yes, I am.
So that's where you familiar.
Yes.
Right? But the stone images is everywhere. It's all over Europe. They all over Asia and India, all over the Philippines, all over. There's stone images and graven images all over the world. And nowhere is this law.
Right. And then we see it with you there and you see it. I mean, they put it in your face and you still stay there.
They stay.
And don't even realize that by you still there staying, you're still a partaker.
That's what it is.
Of that worship.
That's what it is. Because you're there underneath another nation's ensign, another nation's flag. You don't even know what your own flags are. And even when I read it to you, none of you even had sense enough to go look and say, hey, look, this brother is spitting some facts here, and there is no nation with these standards that he's come up with. Because I didn't come up with it. I just remade what the instructions were, proving the understanding.
But it's something that you share with me that has really stuck. When you said that the idol is the government system itself. Yeah.
Because they were given what they were given by the Most High. And the Most High appointed to them fallen angels and idols.
Yeah.
So if you're out there with them, participating, trying to use their system to figure out or do what the Most High says do, you will always fall short. Because he didn't appoint that to you. You're acting like the Most High didn't give you everything. When you say these Jewish people, they stole us, they copied us, they're not copying you. They didn't change their customs. These people are from the Black Sea of Khazaria, and they still wearing those Russian style hats, right? If they're not wearing the Russian style hats, right? So the giants in the land, they were called the Emthani here in Jordan. Well, if you look up the Emthazuni, Emthanzuni, the Emthazuni, right? If you look them up, those same people wear them same hats because they from Russia. When I just said, if you look at Russian history, it says that they were driven out from Egypt when Egypt came and they fled all the way north. These are still the sons of Og. These Khazarians, these Khazarians, the Hasidi Chaldeans. These are them. Oh, but they so strong. They have nuclear weapons. They won't in a minute. Wait till after they finish using it. I'm going to sit right here. They're not going to waste it on a farm. They got important stuff to fight. They have to fight people who have weapons that are pointed against them. If you come here and pick up a plow, nobody's aiming nothing at you. You are not a threat. If you think you're going to transform into the X-Men, well, you're going to be an X-Man, all right. You're going to be X'd out, glowing in the dark.
Right. Oh, goodness.
So when you suffer oppression and all these things come upon you in the end of days, welcome to the party. And you be converted. You have to be converted first. So you have to come for your conversion process because you don't know. If you think you know, don't even come. Go do what you want. And you be converted to the fear of Yah, your Allah, and obey his word. So you have to be converted to the fear. You don't even know what the fear is. If you cuss somebody out, you have violated the fear of the Most High in yourself. If you cuss somebody out, if you be petty with somebody on the internet, you have violated the fear of the Most High for yourself. So you don't know it because you all petty.
Yes.
Right? If you eat meat and cheese, you have violated the fear of the Most High in your life. Milk and meat in any kind of way, you violated it. For Yah, our Allah, is merciful. He will not forsake you, nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers, which he sware unto them. For ask now the generations which have been from the days of the beginning. It says, ask the generations which have been from the beginning. So when we finished this Deuteronomy 34, and I said, after we finish reading all the law, then we're going to go back and judge the first ones. There is a commandment, a statute here to do it this way.
Yep.
Tell me you saw it.
Yep. We'll be asking.
We're going to ask them, and we're going to follow through. So ask the generations which have been from the days of the beginning, Barashit, the first ones, which have been before thee from the day when Yah created man upon the earth, from Adam.
Yep.
From one end of the heavens to the other, whether so great a thing as this has been done, or any like to it has been heard. So we're going to check. Right? Because here we are now at the end of days, and the Most High is promising redemption, and he says, check from the beginning if I did anything like this. No. So we're going to judge the first ones, and we're going to come back up to horror, and then we're going to see, because now we know what happened at horror, reminding ourselves of who we were and what we have done in the past and what we went through. Now we're here at the benediction. We're taking a big review that's coming up after this. And then we're going to go back to the beginning and we're going to judge from Adam all the way back up to Horeb, just like the book says, to see, has it ever been that a people should hear the voice of the word of Yah, the living Allah, speaking from the midst of fire, as you heard and remained alive? Nope. When fire came to Sodom and Gomorrah, they died. When fire came and it hit the Tower of Babel, they were confounded and scattered, and some died. Or as the wonder which Yah hath wrought, revealing himself to separate a people to himself from among another people, by signs, by miracles, by portents, by the victories of ordered battles, by an uplifted arm, and by great visions, like all that Yah, our Allah, has done for us in Mitzrayim and in the West, and your eyes beholding. You're going to see this right now. It's about to unfold to you. Unto thee have these wonders been shown, that thou mayest know that Allah, that Yah is Allah, and there is none beside him. Not besides. There's none to the right, there's none on the left, there's nothing. Nothing. No one. None. Take the entirety of the New Testament, rip it out your Bibles, and burn it to the ground. Get rid of the idol. Hurry up to save your own life. I'm not mourning for none of you. Unto thee have these wonders been shown. He made you hear the voice of his word from the heavens on high. So the voice came from the sky. Everybody heard it. To give you discipline by his doctrine. There's only one. There's no S on it.
Right.
The entirety of the doctrine is the governing of the people under the law. That is all.
Yes, sir.
There's no others. And showed thee upon earth his great fire, and made thee hear his words from the midst of the fire. And because he loved thy fathers Abraham and Isaac, therefore hath he pleasure in the children of Jacob after him, and hath brought you in his loving kindness and power from Mitzrayim, from the west. So this is how I told you. I know who the children of Israel are. They will come. It can be slow. Like I said, it can take 40 years for you to get here. It don't matter. I'll be building the whole time. To drive out nations greater and stronger than you from before you. So everybody is greater than our nation. Everybody. Every nation, every third world country is greater than my nation. All of them. And we're going to push them out. With the member, I'm not going to make war with them like that. So you'll see my success now. You'll see the establishment. And give you their land to inherit as at this day. Know therefore today. Know this today. And set your heart upon it. That Yea, Yah is Allah, whose Shekinah dwells in the heaven above, and reigneth on the earth beneath. Neither is there any other beside him.
He makes sure that point is made over and over and over.
There's nothing else
There's
but
nothing
him,
else.
right? Nothing next to him. Nothing. Therefore, observe his covenant and commandments, which I command you this day, that he may do good to you and to your children after you, and that you may have continuance upon the land which Yah, your Allah, giveth you for all days. Now notice it says all days.
Yes.
That is after the end of days. So now it's my turn. But I'm taking it personal. I don't know about the rest of them. I can't speak for you.
Right.
It said for me to be diligent in myself.
Yes.
It's my turn.
Yes.
I'll take this law. I'll do it literally every single step, every single day.
Yes.
It takes as long as it takes. I don't care how long it takes. But watch me accomplish it at the appointed times.
Yes.
And for those who join with me, it will be the same. Either you keep this law or you will die with the sinners.
Yes.
And now behold, Moshe set apart 3 cities beyond Jordan toward the sunrise, that the manslayer who had killed his neighbor without intention, not having hated him yesterday or before, may flee and escape into one of those cities and be spared alive. Kibartarim, the wilderness, and the plain of the country of Reuben. Ramath and Jalad for the tribe of Gad, and Dabira and Mathnan for the tribe of Manasseh. This is the declaration of the law which Moses set in order before the sons of Israel, and the statutes and judgments which Moses spake with the sons of Israel at the time when they had come out of the west. And Moshe delivered them beyond Jordan over against Beth Peor in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorite, who dwelt in Heshbon, whom Moshe and the sons of Israel smote when they had come out of Mitzrayim. And they took possession of his land and the land of Og, king of Mathnan, the 2 kings of the Amorite who were beyond the Jordan eastward. And from Arar, on the bank of the river Arnon, to the mountain of Seon, which is the snowy mount, and all the plain beyond Jordan eastward, unto the sea.
Yes, sir.
So when I keep telling you, this went all the way to the Persian Gulf. Why people don't want to believe me?
You know what I recognize? Because the image in a lot of people's mind is that we entered the land from Egypt in the wilderness from the north way, when actually it was from the south. And
you went up north and you came around and you went east to the sea. Like I showed you on the 2 or 3 videos ago.
Yes.
Eastward unto the sea, that is in the plain under the spring of the heights. And Moshe called all Israel and said to them, Hear, Israel, the statutes and the judgment that I speak before you this day, to learn them and observe to perform them. We'll be back tomorrow with chapter 5. One day at a time, one step at a time. I don't have no closing statements or remarks. If you didn't get it, he's not talking to you.